Hey, Juliana, do we want to review before we get into the story?
Yes, please, Andrew.
So we've decided that the time period has something to do with great.
Yes, we've also decided that the weapon is a pastry.
We're also going to have to tickle our creative juices and figure out how our witness is going to be water.
Join us on this week's episode of Murder? I barely
Barely
know
know
her.
her.
Hear ye, 'tis the great year of our Lord and Savior,
King Louis
two,
the Third.
2000.
That's right, folks. This place is this murder takes place in a it's sort of a Renaissance festival type of arena, but they're very dedicated to character work and not so much facts.
That was a little recording. Juliana and I actually visited this Renaissance fair, and that's how we were greeted.
Yeah, it was very odd. The woman just comes up to you and just shouts in your ear.
And King Louis the Third, he's just standing on top of this giant like lifeguard tower in his big cape. And the whole time we were there, he never came down. He was just shouting into a
He
megaphone.
he looked like Lord Farquaad, honestly.
He was wearing too much makeup.
Yeah, and not enough he wasn't tall.
No, he on his knees, or is that how tall he was?
I don't want to say it. You did though.
So anyways, this is exciting because we actually got to do some field work.
Yes, but it was post murder, so it's not like we discovered anything super juicy. We just got to kind of see where they lived and worked and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um so this took place, like she said, in the year 2000. Luckily the park is still open. It is
Yes.
right in Wichita Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, describe how Wichita Falls makes you feel.
Wichita Falls, close your eyes, envision a babbling brook. You're hearing the gurgling of light rapids caressing over smooth stones.
Wow.
Peaceful, right?
I love it.
That's how
It's
Wichita Falls
giving
makes me feel. And then imagine stumbling upon a fairy circle where you have fairies, but kind of like the gruesome looking ones from the Grimm's tales. You know what I'm talking about?
mhm. Mhm. A little
So
scary.
it's enchanting, but a little scary, but also peaceful at the same time because that babbling brook's still in the background. That's what
Mhm.
this whole Renaissance fair kind of reminded me of.
The Renaissance, think apple on a stick.
Yeah, we've got pigs on a spit with the apple in their mouth.
We've got beer steins.
We have lederhosen, but we also have furries.
We have cinnamon rolls and cinnamon whiskey.
We have spears that are much sharper than they should have been.
We have wenches and welches grapefruit juice.
We have tents for camping and tents like fairground tents and like burlap wartime tents.
We have night interactions, and they're sometimes uncomfortable.
We have lace up boots that are so high up the leg that they almost go cut off your crotch circulation.
Legs so long they go right up to their hips.
That's what a lot of people told me growing up.
You have legs so long going right up to your hips.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in many years, but it brings me back.
Now go back to the short bed Chevy. Drive. Sorry.
And it's it's a wild place. I think we've set the scene fair. Not an ounce of grass you see. Everything has been trampled upon. It is dirt
It
and
is
mud.
mud everywhere.
I know.
It's giving mud.
But the fence that runs around the property, right outside the fence, grass, beautiful, green, tended to, fertilized.
Yeah. Um so in that story, um or in sorry, in this story, we have already set the scene. But we didn't describe the workers there very well. And
Mm.
unfortunately, all of them were ex-convicts.
That is a part of the no community
Convicts left
member,
behind act.
no convict left behind act that Wichita Falls passed in 1983, uh, to where
The NCLB.
Nickelb. Um, the Nickelb is a really important community law to where convicts are just a part of everyday life. Once they've been released and once they've done their time, once they are integrated back into society, it's a really beautiful um, community rule, I believe.
Well, and the best part about it is, it doesn't matter if you committed mass murder or you stole a loaf of bread. Shout out Jean Valjean. Um, you still get released. So, I mean, we have petty theft, but we also have murder.
That's um that's why I said the Grimm's Tale fairies, because there's that
Yes.
bit of feeling unsettled while you're there,
Yes.
as well as
And
magic.
it's probably because murderers are walking around.
That's true. So, I guess we should have seen this coming.
Well, we had no they should have seen it
They
coming.
they should have.
They, the almighty they.
Um, do you want to actually? When we were interviewing the woman who greeted us at the top of the park, she gave a really great synopsis of what the murder was like. If we just want to play that to get the background.
Of course.
'Twas frightful, 'tis fruitful, 'tis everything you wish wouldn't come true, served up in a dish. There's cinnamon, there's cardamom, there's things in between. But what we would never want to see is the death of a teen. Too many, too many, too much, gone so fast. Why did he have to eat the scone that laid there last? 'Twas gone, 'tis near, 'tis no longer there. Everything we wanted to see was frightened and laid bare.
Quite a poetic way of introducing us to the murder. But to translate what the news story said, there was a teen who had gone there with his family, and 19, so the oldest teen you could get. So it's not too sad. It's still very sad. Let me be frank. It's very sad still. I'm digging myself a hole. Juliana, take it away.
Yes. So the 19-year-old was there with his family, but what Andrew did not mention is that 19-year-old had killed 3 birds. So he had gone to jail. And so he was a part of the NCLB. And they were having the visitation day there with his parents. And he had visited his arch nemesis, Schrodinger. And Schrodinger grew up just outside of Wichita Falls, and he was in for something probably just as petty, gum art. And that's when you take your gum out and you make a little design and press it on a building. So, also very petty. I would say probably more petty than killing birds, but, the state didn't see it that way because he had life. And our teen, Bartholomew only had 3 years for killing those birds.
One
One
year
for
for
each
each
bird.
bird.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
Bartholomew is there doing this visitation. He sees Schrodinger from across the pond. Literally, there's a pond on the property, and it's really dirty. And
And
he,
it separates. Sorry, go ahead.
no, this is good background.
I was going to say it separates the gluten-free section from the gluten section in the fair. They really wanted it to be an allergen friendly event. So they would always put the gluten on one side, the gluten-free on the other side.
And in Wichita Falls, one thing that you don't hear a lot about is that there was a lot of inbreeding going on in Wichita Falls in the 1980s, about when the NICLB was passed. And
Yes.
that led to almost half of the population having gluten intolerance. So the gluten separation is very important for this town, and very important for the Renaissance Fair.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Bartholomew sees Schrodinger from across the pond. Schrodinger is famously gluten free.
Yes. Has the, I would say, lowest tolerance to gluten that I've ever heard of.
The Schrodinger cockleby, the whole cockleby family, actually lived in a literal castle on a hill overlooking the town, because even a whiff of gluten and they're knocked out for at least 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people would always play pranks on them. It was called prank time at the Cocklebees, and people would just throw bread at them, and
Mm.
the whole family would pass out for hours, and then they would rob them.
I heard some of the local youth called it cocklebee or be cockled.
Yeah, horrible. There are funny shirts that they sell at the Renaissance Festival now because of that, though.
Yeah, only on the gluten free side though.
Yes.
So Bartholomew gets this idea. Of course, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Bartholomew got 3 years. Schrodinger did not, and he was really upset about that. So he snuck over this scone, and as you heard in the rhyme, there was cinnamon and cardamom on that scone. I'm sure it was really tasty, but instead of being tasty, it killed. It killed
And
Schrodinger.
it was deadly instead of tasty.
Yes, the whiff didn't just knock him out. The something about a scone being so dense that the gluten in it also, the surface area of gluten is more to a scone ratio than it is to a bread ratio, and so instead of knock him out, it just flat out killed him.
It's a yeasty little thing.
It's a yeasty, dense, stony, rocky, hard little thing. It'll cut you if you bite too hard.
'Twas taste.
No. We can play that now, Juliana. You can go ahead.
Sorry, I got emotional.
No, and that's fine. Play. So this was a song that the minstrel, we learned she was the minstrel that greeted us, which is why she was speaking in rhyme. The minstrel had written a song of lament to Schrodinger because of his death.
'Twas tasty, 'twas smelly, 'twas ghastly, 'twas beastly. For only the scone could be this yeasty.
Beautiful. And you couldn't barely hear it in the recording, but there was an accompaniment of a lute and lyre right behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think we have a little solo of that.
a solo of both. Here's the
Oh,
lute
yes.
first.
Wow.
And the lyre.
Yeah, I don't live at home with my mom because of money issues. I live at home with her because of convenience. Get it? The liar.
Bad jokes aside, we really had a great time at the festival. We really didn't interact with the murder, Juliana and I, besides the minstrel who had greeted us. We really
Who
just,
we later learned was dating Bartholomew.
yes, so that's curious.
It's weird.
Very weird. And
Bartholomew was tried as an adult.
found guilty
Um,
because you know who saw the whole thing transpire? The
who?
lady of the pond. You know, there's usually like in mythology the lady of the lake, but they didn't have a full size. It was a pond.
It was a pond.
And the pond, you know, was what separated the two sections. But neither Bartholomew nor Schrodinger knew that every day, since both of them were on the visitation day, right? Every day at noon, there was a water show.
Yes.
And the lady of the pond would be carted around on her, well, to kind of uh, lessen the magic a little bit. She had
Yeah.
some water skis, and a very small
And two flotation
and two
devices.
flotation devices and a very small motor. But from
Yeah.
the shoreline, it looks like she is floating on water behind geese.
Yes. The geese are very well trained in an ethical way. They only eat good things.
Not bread.
God, no.
Not
Definitely not
not in
scones.
the no man's land of gluten and no gluten.
Definitely not. So, yes, so
Carrots.
she.
They ate carrots. They ate a lot of carrots.
Thank you.
They liked the
Thank
crunch.
you. Yes, I
I
understand what
fed
you're
some by
saying.
hand while we were there.
Yes, you did.
It tickled.
Thank you, Andrew.
It was my favorite part. It was while you were buying a turkey leg as big as your face
To give to the poor.
to give to the poor. That was a turn of events because I thought that you had bought it for you to consume. And in fact, you did give it to the poor with a bite out of it.
I did. I wanted to taste it.
Was it worth it?
Let me work it.
I was asking a question, but we can. Oh wait, actually, the minstrel had a cover of that song. Can we play that?
Of course we can.
Was it worth it? Let me work it. Put my name down, flip it, and reverse it. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Put my name down, flip it, and reverse it.
She played with some nice syncopation there. That was really impressive. And again, the lute and the lyre were lovely in the background.
Let me play some of that lute. Now it's time for the liar. No, babe, I swear. I went right home after the strip club. Another liar.
You got it again. Great. That punchline's just getting better. So the lady of the pond saw everything
Yes,
happen. Um, Bartholomew tried, found guilty
as an adult.
as an adult. And here's the
So he
thing:
still
he's still in jail.
gets to go to that
But
fair.
when he's released, he'll just go right back to where he murdered.
You say that again. Sorry, I didn't mean to overstep you.
Here's the thing: he's in jail now, but when he gets released, he'll just go right back to where he murdered, his stomping grounds.
He just gets to go right back to his loving girlfriend.
The minstrel.
Yes.
See, there's the positive and negative of the Nuckleb.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
But while Juliana and I were there, we did try that cinnamon cardamom scone.
And let me tell you, it's delicious.
It's so delicious. It's so delicious, but here's the thing. Um, Juliana was put away for a little bit while she was over there
I was.
because
Andrew, tell him why.
you that's the first scone you got was a little burnt, so it was about as hard as a rock. So you threw it and it hit a bird and you killed it.
Yep.
Just like Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew, the bird killer, where does he reside? He lives with his mother. Oh, what a child! He wishes, he ponders, he travels, he wonders, but where does he go? To his mom's he resides.
King Louis on a pedestal, it's my turn to sing. I love the sound of my voice, it has a nice ring. I stand in here overlooking up in my tower and sing this song with my crown of power. Everybody, I sing my
Sing my
song with
song
my
with thy crown
crown of
of power.
power. Lute, take it away. Liar.
I swear it's 6 inches.
And that's what that and that's how the cockovies
Be cockle.
be cockled.